Talking into the mics anymore.
Ever. All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. First thing we need to do is approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Curtis. Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So move.
Second.
Curtis and Jill. Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, recognition.
I've got two things to mention to you tonight. One is Trey Teeter has been invited to take part and coach in the Shrine Bowl. That's pretty cool. He was able to play there as a player, and now he's going back as a coach. So that's a celebration. Then also, out of the blue, Chad sent me a note that he received from officials who come down from Hayes. I think they did last Tuesday's game. Just very glowing about how things were done here. You know, the admin puts out the red carpet for them, make sure they have, food and drink, whatever. Fans, players, staff, everything is just very positive. And so they don't have to do that. Usually you get those kind of notes, you think, uh-oh, what's going on? But it really was a celebration. We've got excellent people, and it's nice for somebody else to actually recognize that. So that's a celebration.
The officials?
The officials. They did not reference the 35-year-old board member.
They did a fine job, if they're listening. Okay, let's move on to financials. Mike?
Okay, on page 4, I'll just point out down at the bottom, train, paid $9,445 for the chiller rental, which is no longer here. And we're supposed to be getting the new chiller in February, is the last we heard, so hopefully.
I've got an update on that.
But that's about the only different kind of warrant this month. So the warrants are $223,917.77 this month. They're on page 5. And then page 8, our cash balances are doing okay. And then page 10, our fund expense summary is where we expect it to be. And then behind that's our transfers and high school and middle school reports. So if you have any questions.
If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financials at $223,917.77.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Curtis. It's been moved and seconded to approve the financials. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No public patron concerns. Administrative reports and Dr. Meyer.
Got a couple things to talk to you about. First of all, the Christmas luncheon is coming up on the 20th, Wednesday, the 20th of December at noon in the high school. You're all more than welcome. You're invited to come. Please show up if you can. This Thursday, though, we're having our first cookie exchange district-wide. So our building and then the 4 different buildings are invited to participate, volunteer if they want to. And we'll see what all people have to share. Go around the district, be going from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock, get an opportunity to go see other buildings and also, take advantage of the cookies that are being offered. It's bubbled back up onto my radar. I'm gonna start chasing that dog, possibly creating a daycare. The need is here. It's been here for years. So we're starting down that path again. What I'm looking at is possibly over here by the maintenance grounds because there's nothing infrastructure-wise underneath there. Come to discover, Keisha used to run her own daycare, and so she's kind of knows the people, helps with getting things done. And we can do a double wide if we want to. Just have to have a skirt to it, and it has to be anchored to the ground. So, cross over there. That's what we're thinking about.
What about?
Well, now we have that as the Longhorn Learning Labs. They're used for professional learning. We're in the process. We signed paperwork for this, a data dashboard called Otis. It allows basically one-stop shopping for the teachers, principals, counselors. It pulls in a whole slew of data on the individual kids, academic and social, emotional, basically to help inform our efforts on what we're doing with the students. We've become far more data savvy over the last several years, and this is the next step, which I think will really make a difference. The calendar committee got going. I had our first meeting today. And so we've got a couple little tweaks on the, one of the calendars, and we'll be getting that out to vote before Christmas. This is for next year's calendar. And then we're working in earnest, starting in January, on the following year's calendar. We like to work a year out in advance. That way it just goes more smoothly. Last item to talk to you about, Matt referenced, nope, your name's Mike, referenced train. I got an email at the end of the day saying now it may be pushed back to March, April for the new chiller to come in. And would it be okay if they came to work on it? I said, I want it as fast as possible. We've paid for it. It gets hot in southwest Kansas come April. So there are specific days when there's no kids in the building, but I don't care. They won't do it during, it's outside. So I don't know if you saw that, Garrett, that I sent to you. Also, though, one other train thing, we've got the, all of the HVAC units, there's 30 of them, over at Wiley Elementary that we're in the need to replace at some point. It's not a crisis at this point, but the preliminary bid on that is $1,800,000. Yeah, so we're looking at how we might go about doing that. I'm not interested in a lease purchase. Interested in using just capital outlay, but we need to see what comes down the pike for next year as far as the various projects that we're looking at. Or we could do it in a three-phase approach, but if we do a three-phase approach, it's set up north, middle, south. The first section is the north, and that's where all the controls are. Well, so it'd still be north of $1 million, to do those 15 units. So this is not a today problem, but it is a problem down the path. In the meantime, we're going to get information about Wiley, or Holcomb Elementary as well. The two buildings, middle school and high school, have chillers. So that's not, that's not why we're not talking about that with them at this point. But had the meeting with them last week, and it's just, okay, $1.8 million for HVAC. So,
Are all the units the same age?
yeah, and that's the problem with it. And, they're 30 years old. I mean, they're end of life. So we keep patching them together. We're working it, but at some point in time, you have to have, good climate control to have a quality learning environment.
Well, then we can't run fans on extension cords.
No, we cannot. No, we cannot. Yeah, he's referencing we had a fire marshal visit. So that's my report, Mr. Jones.
All right, thank you. All right, Garrett, buildings and grounds. Okay, transportation, Sam's,
I don't know where he is,
okay.
but nothing further.
Okay, food services, Monica? Nothing further. Technology, Mr. Ackerman? Nothing further. All right, Mrs. Albright, Wiley Elementary.
I just wanted to celebrate some of the student learning that we have from our CKLA ELA adoption that we did last year. The other day, last week, we had the staff dressed up for Christmas vacation. So, of course, I had a lei and, the Hawaiian gear on, and he walks in the bus door and looks at me funny. What are you dressed like that? I said, well, I'm going on vacation to Hawaii. You are? I said, yeah. He goes, I'm going to ancient Egypt. And I knew that first grade had just got done learning about ancient Egypt, so I thought that was pretty cool that, the learning is sticking with them and they're retaining it and taking it outside of the classroom. So that was a good little shout out from first grade.
And I noticed in both yours and Randy's report, you guys are moving into working with what it's called, Early American Civilizations. You have an expert at this table, loves that stuff. You might want to tap Mr. Jones, because they'll be learning about Maya, Inca, and Aztec civilizations. Oh, yeah.
Maybe you can come and be a guest speaker.
You'd better have a long time. He won't shut down.
I can cover a few bases on that. Thank you. All right, Mrs. Tyne.
I just wanted to highlight one section of my board report. Fourth grade has been working on animal adaptations and biomes. They created their own biome with their animal, and the teachers connected with Rance at the high school, and Rance did some educational videos for the students to watch, where I think he did each of the biomes that they were studying, and then kind of talked, basically tailored it to the needs of the fourth grade teachers and what they kind of wanted to highlight. So I thought that was a cool connection that was made. Also, I just want to give a shout out to Mrs. Tidwell, the third and fourth grade concerts. I think I might have mentioned this last month that they were coming up, but she does a really great job of just providing, a different concert each time, and some different instruments that she has the kids playing, just doing a variety of things musically, and it's really fun to watch and be able to perform on those. So shout out to her and her students.
Thank you. Mr. Helton.
Two items I wanted to point out. One, a small celebration at the middle school. We had our first group of students who have moved from Tier 3 to Tier 2 in our reading interventions, so it's nice to see some results. To move up, they'd have to have 4 consecutive screeners showing growth, so it's not just a one shot, they're doing better, it's sustained over time, so that's a positive praise to the teachers and helping students get better. And then putting a shout out, Miss McKenzie, Miss Meinert, Mr. Loudon will be putting on our first holiday night this Friday. It'll be a holiday family night, 7 to 9 at the middle school. Family oriented, they'll have ornament decorating, there'll be some gingerbread house kits that I'm sure will be nice and messy to clean up after. But it's all ages are welcome, it's free. Thank you to K Club, Art Club, and our student council for putting that on for our families. Thank you.
While Tyler's there, you guys know we've been working hard on individual plans of study for, several years. And the goal, of course, when a student walks across the stage, they're fully prepared to do whatever they need to do next and or have the skill set if they change their mind, okay? Well, a piece of this where it plays into the middle school in particular is they have these IPS field trips that Ms. Leonard hosts. And so the students say, well, I really think I want to do this, X, Y, Z. And so then a field trip is put together and they get to go to it. Well, we had feedback recently from a parent because that parent's child has forever wanted to be a vet. And then went on the field trip, came back and said, I don't want to be a vet, for whatever reason. But this is great because it gave them the opportunity to explore it more so and found out that maybe that's not my bailiwick. So it opened the students' eyes to the idea there's more to this than just cuddly kitties and puppies. So,
Yeah.
Anything to say about that?
No, it's amazing what Miss Leonard has done with that position. She shared with me last week, she's got 6 or 7 more field trips based on their interests already going as far as April. There's a sports management one. There's a culinary one where they're going to get to go see some restaurants in Garden City, look at behind the scene, behind the lines, how they prep things, and just really amazing what she's doing with that. And I think it fits the middle school well. It's kind of our exploration phase, and then hopefully by the time they're becoming freshmen at the high school, they got an idea of where they might want to shadow, what kind of career path they want to take CTE-wise. So I think it's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Johnson.
We got we did our fast bridge testing this last week, and we're doing some follow-up now. And so the prelim results that we're getting back is that we've increased the number of students that are on benchmark in each one of the grades. We've decreased the number of Tier 3 students in each one of the grades. And we've actually increased in the sophomore the number of students that are in college path reading. So it's good, exciting news for us. It's something that we've been working really hard with the vocabulary building-wide unit, and then also with our MTSS hour. So we're seeing some good results. It's not big jumps, but I would say that we've had a goal this year that each grade level be at 90% of our students either be on level of grade level reading or improve their FastBridge scores. And we don't have everybody tested. That's why I'm calling their prelim results. But our juniors are setting at 81%, and our sophomores are at 85% right now. Freshmen have some ways to go. They're at 71%. But we have several students that are have increased from fall to winter data. So it's something we were hoping for. We put a lot of effort into it, and so it's kind of one of those things when you first start looking at the test results, you're like, man, I really hope this actually comes to fruition, and you're starting to see it. Some kids have really taken hold and really working hard onto it. So it's fun to see that the teacher's hard work and the student's hard work is kind of being rewarded with it. So we have some fun things set up. Any student that, we told them any student that increased their FastBridge score, we buy them pop and candy bar the last day of school on a deal. So we're gonna let them have a pop and candy bar from the concession stand, and then whenever we come back, we're gonna take a day, one of our Thursday afternoons, and we're gonna sit down and pour over the data with the students and have like an ice cream social with them and just celebrate and say, thanks for all your hard work. Here's where we are, here's where we gotta get to. So we're not there yet, but man, you guys are working hard. And thanks for taking it serious and actually putting in the time and treating it the way that it should be. So we got some good kids and good staff right now that are really working hard at it, so.
And saying toward that end, nothing happens in a vacuum. I mean, this is vision on Jerry's part, his leadership team, his teachers. And then also, I just really appreciate the fact of engaging with the kids themselves on this, you know, so they're part of it. And so, you know, see what they need or, you know, actually have those substantive conversations, let them own it as well. So that's all good.
I think the thing that got brought up a little bit earlier, Otis, that'll be a nice piece too for parents, because they'll be able to see how and track the FastBridge data also. So a piece of that is every parent will be able to see all their kids' test scores, state assessment scores, FastBridge scores, all that kind of stuff, and you'll see the improvements that they've made from each one. I think that's a big piece too, to have the conversation between the kids and the parents, so they also know. So
Good stuff.
All right. Thanks, Jerry. All right, let's move to unfinished business and introduction of new secondary teachers.
Yeah, each year, we like to bring forward the new staff members to us, just introduce to the board. The middle school people were not able to make it tonight, but Tyler is going to say a little bit.
Yeah, both of ours are working with kids. So first one I want to recognize was Jenna Beasley. She's our new middle school counselor, coaching tonight. She's done a tremendous job making connections with kids, making an immediate impact on our culture, doing great staff appreciation things. And we've started a new individual plan of study committee, and she's done great work with that, identifying that we need to offer something with financial literacy. We don't have that right now. So she's made a good impact there. And the second one, we had mentioned Kim Leonard with the career field trips. And beyond that, she also is responsible for kind of working with, you might call at-risk students on a daily basis, checking in with them, making sure that working with them to improve their study skills and habits. So she wears multiple hats as well. So blessed with both of them. They're doing a tremendous job.
Jerry?
all right, so we have 4 staff members here, our 4 new teachers and semi new teacher. The first one, I'd say semi-new teacher, Mrs. Bynum. She's been teaching in our district for, several years. I don't know, then 14. I remember as Mrs. Sheng when she first came, so that was all the way back from Michigan, came in and was teaching special ed for us, and she has transitioned over to our fax position and done a really, really good job with the fax position. It's been really fun to see her in a different setting. You go into the fax room and they're cooking every single week. They've done food truck challenges. They've done cupcake wars. The really great thing about being a principal with a good fax department is there's really good food all the time, and so they're always asking you to come in and eat, and I love doing that, so it works out really well. So Mrs. Bynum. Sitting over here to the side is Mr. Reyes. Mr. Reyes, I didn't know if he would be here tonight. He's been kind of feeling under the weather. Mr. Reyes comes to us, and he's teaching special ed, the 9th grade and seniors, right? So he has both. I know he has 9th grade with it. Does a really, really good job. One of the most patient men I've ever seen in my life. Does a really good job with a couple of our students, and just where I would get really frustrated, he is very, very under control and has been a great addition in that position for us. The other two ladies that we have make up 2 of the 4 of our English department. And so when we're talking about FastBridge testing scores and building-wide strategies and all these ladies help lead the charge with that. They do a really good job of providing rigor within the classroom and instituting some of our policies. Mrs. Heather Kleeman teaches our junior level English, and Mrs. Fritz teaches our sophomore level English. And so both of them have done a really good job of transitioning in. Tough to step right into standards-based grading when we're stepping right into a whole new deal. They've jumped on, they work extremely hard. We're just blessed to have all 4 of them. So,
Welcome.
Welcome.
And you're more than welcome to hang around and watch the rest of this because it just gets better and better. But if you need to leave, we understand that as well. But there are plenty of Christmas goodies and food up here, so if you do decide to leave, whenever, fill your pockets. You probably have family at home. You might want to feed somebody. So welcome to the district.
Can I ask Jerry a question real quick on his report? On Thursdays, are the kids getting out of school early if they don't have any reassessment?
if they qualify,
Fine.
yes.
Okay. And what time do they get out?
The 2:10.
2:10, okay.
Thanks, guys. All right, let's move to non-resident policy adoption.
All right, as you're well aware, before January 1 of 2024, every district in the state of Kansas has to adopt a policy on non-resident students. This will be the second reading and be moving forward for the approval of this. If you recall, the most important piece of this is we've had open borders for years. But the criteria to get in, people would make application, were academics, attendance, discipline, and just generally do you fit. That's changed. This is all related to legislature. And so the KASB had put together policy recommendations for people to use, and we tweaked it just a little bit. Basically, it boils down to now, before May 1, the capacities per grade level have to be set. That's not the work of tonight at all. We'll be working with that through the winter and spring. From June 1 to June 30, the enrollment window is open. You can't enroll sooner. Actually, can't enroll after either. By July 15, that's the deadline to let the families know if they're in or not. If they're not in, there's specific things would keep someone from being able to come in. And it doesn't matter where they live. If they're residents of Kansas, I mean, literally, they could live in Salina, and they're put in an application to come to school here. Attendance is one. The policy we're recommending is, it reads, if they had 14 or more absences from school, that would preclude them from coming in. Discipline, if they've had 1 or more out-of-school suspensions in a year, or 2 or more in-school suspensions in a year, and or if they're serving a current long-term suspension. And third reason they may not get in is if we hit the capacity and we have to utilize a lottery system. And so if the lottery might just not go their way, and so that'd keep them from coming in. And then if the family were to provide false information about something, then that would keep them out as well. Priority is given to siblings of another non-resident student. So let's say a second grade student is underneath the capacity, they're in, but then there's a sixth grade student, but the capacity is too high, well, they get priority. They get in, the sibling gets in. So they don't have to go through the lottery process. Military family, not really an issue to us. Foster child living with another non-resident student. Employee of the district, as long as they're employed by us. And homeless students. So those are the people, the situations where they receive priority to come in. We are not required to provide transportation unless it's in the IEP that they get transportation. I think there's going to be a lawsuit about that around the state of Kansas somewhere, depending on how far people are looking to transfer. A student may only transfer as a non-resident student once a year, so they can't just hop around per season. If you decide to come here and you get in, you can't then change and go to Deerfield. If, let's say, you sleep in Garden. You can always go home. You can always go back to your sending district, but you can't go to another place. All CASA regulations are still in force, so as far as making a bona fide move and all that kind of stuff. And then once a student is accepted into the district, that family does not need to continue to reapply in coming years unless the student is not in good standing. Definition of not in good standing, attendance, and discipline. So those are how a person could get out of the game. That's the policy. The work that needs to be done down the road is setting the capacity. But we need to have this in place. If you look at a proposed a possible motion I've provided for you, it's important for the wording to be read in this manner. I make the motion to approve of the presented non-resident student policy and have it go into effect on January 1, 2024. If we don't put that last phrase in it, it goes into effect right now, which you could do that if you want to, but this whole thing starts January 1, so that's my recommendation.
Matt, I'll make the motion to approve of the presented non-resident student policy and have it go into effect on January 1st, 2024.
Second.
Okay, Casey and Jill. Moved and seconded to approve the non-resident student policy to go in effect January 1, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, capital outlay projects.
You'll be Garrett, if you come to the table, please. So the concession stand restroom project is on its way. I met with Desiree last week to discuss placement of utilities and whatnot. I've got a meeting tomorrow with her over at in Garden to review drawings, so we're headed down the path. We'll also check in on the bid process because last I spoke with Nick, they're really nervous. We might have difficulty getting companies, generals and subs to bid just because there's not a lot of companies out there. But we're moving forward with it. We did talk about the concept of going ahead and moving forward with the demolition bid, so we can do that more quickly. So I'll have more answers after tomorrow's meeting. I already mentioned the train project. Just bring it to light again. 30 units are at end of life. It's not a crisis today, but it needs to be addressed. This is one of those deals we'll continue to repair things, but at some point in time, that's just throwing good money after bad. Problem is, it's $1.8 million. The next, prior to this, learning of this little issue, we're looking at down the road the track. Well, if we redo the track, that's $1 million. And so it'd be fiscally unwise for us to take on both those projects in the same fiscal year. So I think the decision as we move down further, we'll look at one of those two projects to do next year, if not the following year. And then the next one will be the following year. And so we'll just have to see how things are coming together on it. The track, we continue to patch it together, but we also have to have air conditioning, and heat. Final thing to talk to you about is, and actually we have bids on it now, the fob project. Our fobs, as you well know, our doors are all fobbed to get in. This was a piece, I'm sure you don't know how long you've had fobs here, but it's tied to our envelope and safety of the in case of intruder alerts and that kind of thing. 15 years ago, all doors were unlocked. Well, that's just not how it is anymore. And so we are our fob system is out of date. It cannot be repaired. And so we looked around at the company, we looked at other companies, and saw what we could find. There's an app that goes on a cell phone that you can use, but it's far more costly than what I'm getting ready to talk to you about here. Moving forward on this, we would be able to upgrade everything. We'd put a fob on this door, finally, in this building, with a camera. It would be sitting at the receptionist door or place. So the bid came in at $66,470.02. Garrett, anything to add?
Yeah, it's really updating everything. Right now, trying to get any fob parts we're not able to get. If we need any tech help, the company doesn't provide us any. There's one guy that will do it, and it's hard to get a hold of him. And when you do get a hold of him, he's coming out of Wichita, so we're getting that trip charge every time.
And what we're discovering with the fobs, a person will go to a given door, it'll work. Next person comes up to you, it won't work. First person come back around and do it again, it doesn't work for him this time. It's just back and forth, and it's hold your tongue wrong or right. It works sometimes it doesn't. That's not a good situation as far as that goes. They're part of the purchasing co-op, thus the reason we didn't need to have to go through a formal bid process by purchasing from a purchasing co-op. That is the same as a bid process. So they're part of TIPS, which is the group we bought the LED lights from. So, anything else, Garrett?
I can't think of anything.
Me either. So the question is, what we need to do this. The cash is available. Budget authority is there. This will be the other big project for the year, well, then the playground, not the playground, the parking lot, along with the concession stand. So the current bid we have is $66,470. I recommend that you accept that, and we move down the pike on this. It'll take them, they won't be able to start the work for like 3 months.
Yeah, it's probably starting in March, take 3 weeks to have everything done.
There you go, Mr. Jones. It is ADS, American Digital Security. $66,470.02. We got that today, otherwise I would have had it in the packet, I apologize.
Matt, I would make the motion that we accept the Bob project as presented at $66,470.02.
Okay.
Second.
Jill and Curtis. Been moved and seconded to accept the FOB bid as presented. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? KISA update.
All righty, as you are aware, but it's good to give you an update every 6 months or so on this. KISA 2.0 is launching now. For the last 2 years, we've been a part of the pilot project, helping to, hopefully, to help define the new system, or the tweaked system, if you will. A couple of substantive changes. It goes to a yearly process instead of every 5 years. That's harkens back to the old days. We are to partner with a fellow district, and we've created a partnership with Scott County. They're very similar to us, size and effort and things that they do. And then a KSDE person is assigned to portions of the state to come out and just basically do check-ins with you. Amber Miller is the individual who, we've got our first meeting set up for January 25, I believe it is, for her to come out and see, well, what have we been doing, okay? The game now is around 4 fundamentals. We're in good shape at all 4 of these things. We're doing them already. Structured literacy, which basically is the science of reading. We do that with CKLA, letters training, Horizons Elevate. We're doing that. Balanced assessment system. That's all the various tests that Jerry was kind of talking about and the data we get back from it. So we're doing that. Instruction is aligned with standards. Well, we've aligned all the standards over the last several years. So we're finished with that work, but we have to continually monitor it because standards get updated. But we're doing that. And then high quality instruction. We have a variety of initiatives taking place. Our efforts, mentoring, walkthroughs, evaluation system we're looking to change to get something more robust that is more user-friendly and works better for our people. So we're hitting those 4 things. The question still, and I know you've heard me whine about this in the past, and I'll continue voicing my concern or my disdain for the way I think it's going to come down the pike. Nobody at the state level is yet to acknowledge, but the second half of accreditation is academic achievement. And so I always say, what's that mean? What's the metric? And I'm fearful it's going to be state assessments because that's just what they have used in the past. We've thrown in with our goals are tied to FastBridge, the progress monitoring, because it's a growth model. State assessments is not a growth model. And as Jerry detailed for you, we're on our way. It's a 5-year plan to get it to 80% of all our people at the typical aggressive levels for ELA and math. And then we have a fully integrated SEL program. So that's where we're at. You'll hear more as time goes on. January, we'll have a meeting with Amber Miller. February, we'll have a meeting with Scott County. All the pieces and parts are in place. We just have to keep it going. So that's KISA. What questions might I answer for you? Think school improvement. That's what it is, school improvement model.
All right, let's move to new business and early graduation requests.
As per board policy, this district, I don't know for how many years, but it's offered the opportunity for students to get put in for approval for permission to graduate early their December of their senior year. They have to make that application in their junior year. Okay, there's 3 parts. They have to be on track to graduate, passing all the courses they need. They have to write a letter explaining what they're wanting to do, and the parents need to support it, or have to put in a letter as well. I guess they don't have to support it, but they have to submit a letter as well. Once again, we have 11 people requesting it this year. Basically, the request center around earning money for college and/or going ahead and starting in college. And it'd be January of next year. So you have 11, and I recommend the board approve of all 11 requests for early graduation.
So move.
Second it.
Curtis and Jill. Been moved and seconded to approve the early graduation request. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, math curriculum adoption purchase.
Okay, this is a little nuanced for you because we're in two different spots. We've got a K-5 adoption and then purchase. Then we've got a 6-12 purchase. The difference being the K-5 is changing curriculum. They're going to a different company. The 6-12 is sticking with the same one they've had, okay? So when we get down to the end of this, there'll be two different motions. One to adopt and purchase. The second will be the purchase, okay? So every 6 years, all the different curriculum areas are up for rotation, and we have a very thorough process that the teachers go through of analysis, looking to what resources they want to be using in their course area. So they have to make sure that, and a nice, multiple page sheet that details the reason they want to support this particular curriculum versus this particular curriculum. In broad terms, it makes sure that the curriculum itself, the resources rather, meet the standards. So there's a standards analysis that takes place. Make sure that it's engaging. We want it to be able to work, get the kids excited about it, which means generally anymore a digital aspect to it as well, and that it's rigorous. And so last year we did ELA. This year it's math. I'm sorry, 2 years ago it was ELA. This year it's math. Those are the two biggies, the two adoptions. Later in the school year, I'll bring forward some smaller adoptions, but these are the big ones. These are the ones that really carry the water. So K-5 went through, and they are recommending that to the SIC, which then recommended to the admin team, which then it comes to me to recommend to the board. So there's a process that takes place to adopt. So one motion for the K-5 would be, I move to adopt iReady, that's the name of the curriculum, as the pre-5K math curriculum, and purchase the curriculum for $92,038.55. Do them one at a time. We'll do the second one in a moment, Matt.
Do we have to say what funds? Do we have to?
Yes,
Oh, I will mention it, that we're using ESSER 3 money for this. We didn't need to, but it's nice to, nice to have it on there. Yeah.
I'll move to adopt iReady as the pre-K to 5 math curriculum and purchase the curriculum for $92,038.55.
Second.
Casey and Jill. It's been moved and seconded to adopt iReady as the pre-5 math curriculum and purchase the curriculum as well. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, on to the next one.
In the secondary level, it's the 6 through 12. The math teachers were happy with the current curriculum we use, it's called SAVIS, at the middle and high school. So it's not a new adoption, it's a carryover adoption, but it is a purchase. And this is a 6-year purchase for $80,490.51. And once again, this too comes from ESSER 3 monies. Grand total from ESSER 3 monies, it comes out to $172,529. That's just for your edification. The motion here is $80,490 for the secondary math. I recommend that.
Matt, I move to make the purchase of the SAVIS math as the middle school and high school math curriculum for a total of $80,490.51.
Second.
It's Jill and Curtis. Moved and seconded to approve the purchase of SAVIS math for middle school and high school math curriculum. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, new position creation.
If Randy, if you'd come to the table, please. As we well know, I've been bemoaning the fact since I got here. Told Randy he can't leave till I leave. Well, he's jumping the gun. And so looking for a replacement for what Randy does, I knew it wouldn't be possible. Not feasible, not highly feasible.
Apparently, Dr. Myers is retiring at the end of the year.
When you take a look at the job that Randy does, the scope of work, And he's got the academic knowledge, and so, you know, he talks teacher, he understands what works in the classroom. Then he also has the software and emerging technologies knowledge. Plus then he has hardware knowledge. Okay, that unicorn does not exist out there. Somebody coming off the street with those pieces of knowledge. So Randy and I have been working on this for months, saying, well, if nobody comes forward, what's the best way? How do we set ourselves up for success? So what recommendation we've come up with is to strip away the hardware side of it, and thus the creation of this new position, Technology Systems Administrator. It's not an administrative position, it's just the name we threw to it. It's a classified position who would work for whomever earns the position as the new technology director, okay? It's not an administrator. It's a person who knows how to plug in, fix computers, plug in switches, make sure the internet's working, all the different things. Randy, what else would you like to add to that?
Yeah, back when I started the position in '96, it was basically taking care of all technology related. We've kind of transitioned away from that when we hired Julie and Nemechek as a software integration specialist. So this is just kind of one more step forward to set the district up to really have the assignments set as they should be. The technology director being responsible more for their role, the software integrations or the systems administrator to be able to handle all hardware and network related duties that would separate out my roles into two separate roles.
And this would not be paid anywhere near what the tech director gets paid. The Garden City Community College has a program that actually trains up students to do this kind of work. Last month, I was talking to Ryan, Dr. Ruda about it. He said, yeah, we hired a couple of our graduates, to do this kind of work. And so we think we'll be able to find somebody with this skill set versus, once again, that unicorn that has all those skill sets. We are taking a meeting. Bill Bierman and Randy and I are going to get together and talk on Thursday because Goodland uses, K12
K-12 ITC.
Yeah, out of Olathe of all places, to fulfill that function. I don't know how they do it. We're going to pick his brain and figure that out. But that's the fallback. I'd much rather have a person. But if we will have computers next year, there will be things that happen. The internet will go down. Someone needs to fix it.
Yeah, right now in the district, we have over 1,200 mobile devices, 130 access points, almost 25 switches. We're a fairly large business when it comes to technology.
So in order to make this a reality, you have in your packet the actual job description itself. So assuming that this, I will make the recommendation, but assuming that you create it, the position, tomorrow we will advertise. We'll start advertising tomorrow, and then start putting the pieces together on this. So
I just think Garrett could probably do it.
yeah, we'll throw it to Garrett. Actually, I told Randy she's gonna have to do it. Randy Tyne, and she
And the calendar?
she stopped shaking after a while. So I recommend the board create this position.
So you said like 3 times that this is not an administrator, so why don't you change the title name?
We could take it off right now. Technology Systems.
Coordinator, I mean, if you don't want people to think it's an administrator,
Right.
then take it out of the name.
Network systems. Well, we could come up with something that's not administrative. It's definitely not administrative position.
But-
Technology systems geek.
Technician. Let's go Technology Systems Technician.
Okay.
Thank you, Curtis. Yeah, because I don't want any confusion on that. This is a person who's utilizing the wrenches to fix things. Got a classified staff.
I'll make the motion to create this position with the new name.
Technology Systems Technician. Okay.
Second.
Casey and Jill. Moved and seconded to approve the creation of the Technology Systems Technician position as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. HPEC interlocal agreement amendment.
Okay, for years, the Elkhart has operated a virtual school. Way back when it first started, for the first 5 years of its operation, teachers from USD 218 ran it. the end. Ultimately, leadership change occurred, and over time, the Elkhart School District sold it to a third-party provider, KCA, Kansas Connections Academy. KCA does all the sped work, okay? However, due to state rules, the information, because they're part of our co-op still, has to come back through High Plains. And then High Plains has to physically do the data entry into the KSDE system. All right, fine and dandy, except if they're ever out of compliance, it didn't fall just on KCA or Elkhart, it fell on High Plains Educational Co-op. Now I care, because if the High Plains gets in trouble, then we also have to pony up as with it as well. So we've been working with Shelley for a while on this, and so this is just information for tonight, by the way. But Thursday night at the High Plains board meeting, and I'll be there, they are looking to adopt this amendment, which basically says High Plains does not support in any which way whatsoever any SPED efforts of any district's third-party provided virtual school. So we have a virtual school, right? But it's not third-party. We take care of it ourselves. The only group that this impacts is Elkhart. Then they can continue to do KCA if they want to, but it's all on KCA to do the stuff with the state and whatnot. Just so you know, well, come on, how big a deal is this, Scott? Well, they've got 1,800 students in that virtual school with over 150 IEPs. And they have had, throughout the years, issues where an IEP wasn't done properly. And so then, or they have too many kids in a certain classification. And so then that kicks the entire co-op into harm's way. So the movement will be, if everything goes according to Hoyle, and I think this is a good thing, the High Plains Board will adopt this, I'm assuming, and then in January, all of the 16 or 17 districts will take action on this. And it takes 3/4 of the districts to say, yeah, we want that. I don't know why a single district would be opposed to this, because right now we suffer the potential of a lot of compliance issues and reap no benefits. So to me, this is, puts them over in the corner, they get to their own little thing, and we go on down the road. So that's coming down the pike. A big deal. Took a lot of work to get that done. Any questions on that? So a month from now, I'll be asking you to, assuming Thursday night, the High Plains Board does what they're supposed to, a month from now, I'll be asking the board to approve of the amendment to the interlocal.
You were the creator of that.
It was a totally different, yes, I was.
Way to go, Doc.
It was not the Frankenstein that it is now. It was pristine. Thanks, Mr. Jones.
So, all right, we will move to cooperative agreement for swimming.
Yeah, for the second year running, the swim coaches have come forward asking the idea of creating a cooperative agreement with other districts. This year's proposal was, I think, far better as far as the benefits that for us, as for our swimmers and whatnot. So to the point where Jason, nope, his name would be Chad, and Jerry have recommended to me that we move into this arrangement. I've given it close scrutiny. I'm good with it as well. It basically makes us a little more competitive because we can earn more points because we'll have more swimmers. It raises the level of competition on the team itself, which is quality. There are some things that have to, per CASA, have to be followed, but it's all written into the language of the contract that KESB has already approved. Technicalities like if it's a mixed relay team, they cannot qualify for state. If swimmers from Ingalls and Lake, and those are the two districts we're interested in co-oping with, make it state and we don't, well, it's on them. It's incumbent upon the sending districts to get the swimmers to us, and it's at their price. And so I'm bringing, and this is a one-year deal, and if we like it, we on a yearly basis, we'd look at this. So I recommend the board enter into a cooperative agreement with Ingalls and Lake and School Districts for girls swimming for the 2024 swim season. If the board approves it here, of course, I'll be in contact with the superintendents and ADs of those other districts, and it takes, both teams have got to come to the dance for this to really take place. But if our board takes this action, it sets it up to where the others could do it as well. So my recommendation is to enter into the cooperative.
So like at regionals, then they'll swim for their
Right.
respective districts.
That's correct.
or Schools, right?
That's
How
correct.
does that, I don't understand how that works. Like if, you know, during the season, we have mixed relays, then at regionals, we have to split out our relays. That doesn't work very good.
Well, it's been like that for years, because that's, I was gonna say, when I ran with Meade for cross-country, it was the same. I mean, we had a full team. The season, we could run a full team, then when it came to regionals, we didn't have enough for a full team,
Yeah.
because
so
I
then
had to go
that's-
back and run for Fowler.
That jacks us up on regional.
I would just think the coaches would have to keep our eye to it and see, you know, position our swimmers for the next level. And so have them in heats where they get, or events where they qualify with the time. And so it's, you know, it's part of the coaching staff.
How
Coaching
would, how would
responsibilities.
practice look?
Uh,
How would Ingalls get to Lakin in time for practice?
That's on them. Practice takes place at a certain time and then they need to show up.
I think the district over there has their own plane. They'll be flying.
Yeah, well, I don't think they get out of school till 10 till 4.
They-
So,
We'll be swimming, sounds to me. So it's not like we have to
Wait, no?
wait, okay, right? Yeah.
You just go forward and they get there as soon as they can.
I'll make a motion to enter the cooperative agreement with Ingalls and Lakin for the girls swimming for 2024 season.
Casey?
Second.
And Curtis. Moved and seconded to enter in a cooperative agreement with Ingalls and Lakin School Districts for girls swimming for the 2024 swim season. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Oh, boy, here we go. Let's see. 20 minutes?
20, yeah, with Tyler initially.
Okay. So let's go into executive session for 20 minutes at 7 o'clock with Dr. Myers and
Principals as needed.
principals as needed.
We need a motion.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Casey and Curtis moved and seconded to go into executive session for 20 minutes at 7 o'clock. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed? I think you're right. Yep. All right,
She
we
makes
are,
Excellent Seminoles, excellent.
yeah, we are back in session. I need a motion to hire Juan Rucker as a part-time custodian.
So moved.
Second.
So it's Casey and Curtis. Moved and seconded to hire Juan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to hire Kenny Briscoe as middle school girls wrestling coach, pending background check.
So moved.
Jill
Second.
and Casey. It's been moved and seconded to hire Kenny. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Let's see, I need to accept Stacy Bynum's resignation from the SAD Resist Advisory position, and that'll be effective at the end of the school year.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Curtis. Moved and seconded to accept Stacy's resignation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I need a motion to approve the all USD 363 employees and an $800 gross retention incentive premium payment to be paid this month.
So moved.
Jill
Second.
and Casey. Moved and seconded to approve the premium payment for December, this month. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
That is all, Mr. Jones.
I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Curtis. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?